so me and Tyler went to the organic market this morning and we picked up our veg for the week, so I thought I'd share with you what we got. Celery, like that in soups and stews, it's always good for flavour. And then I got these radishes, look at those. I think I'm going to make some sweet pickled radishes to keep in the fridge, I think. That'll be good. Then we got some greens, like those, just with a bit of garlic and butter. Some tomatoes, cherry tomatoes. I think I'm going to make up a salsa because I think the plan is to have some tacos tonight for dinner. Leeks. I love leeks. So I always pick up a good bunch of them. And some broccoli. Love broccoli. I picked up 3 of those. And what else? Cauliflower. Cauliflower's always good. Love cauliflower, broccoli and leek in a cheese sauce. That's one of our favourites. Then picked up some courgettes. Courgettes are great in the pasta dishes we do. We put them in risottos and we love them just fried up with a bit of seasoning. So that's always stocked in our fridge. Got some more in here somewhere. There we go. Courgettes. Or I guess zucchini, depending on where you're from. But in England we call them courgettes. Whoop. 2, look at the size of that. 2 yellow peppers. And 1 nice red pepper. Great again in pastas, salads, great with sausages as well. So I like to have peppers. And then the rest of this is all carrots. We eat, look, you see all that? We eat a lot of carrots. We just eat them steamed with most meals. Or we put, if we're doing a curry, we love carrots in curries and soups as well. So let's get all these out. Whoop. This is our week's worth of veg for all our home cooked meals. Look at that. Just put this away. There we go, it's a better look. This is our delicious veg for the week. It may seem like a lot of carrots, but like I said, we have those for practically every single dinner. We'll usually have some steamed carrots. But oh, delicious. Right, so I'm going to get this all washed and then put back into the fridge. Okay, so I thought I'd just show you. This is the veg left over still from last week. So I'm going to take this all out and then rotate it so I can put all the fresh produce at the bottom and then see what needs using up in here and see what I can make for it for the meals this week. So we've got some Paulista squashes left, so I might do some roasted squash to maybe make a soup, or actually that makes a real good risotto, so maybe a risotto. Still got 1 courgette left, some onions. Oh, still got 1 red pepper left there. Still got some, oh, I've forgotten the name. It's gone. What is it called? Celery. Can't believe I forgot that. Celery. So we've got celery left, still got a white cabbage and a red cabbage left there. So I might even just take these out and pickle some, so we've got them in jars in the fridge to use. And then of course we still have in this bag, oh, lots, oh, get into it, hang on. We still have carrots left. Like I said, we eat these practically every day, so they will get used. So I'm going to take all of this out, give the tray a wipe out, the drawer, and then restock it and see what needs using. Okay, so everything that we've bought today from the market, I've just washed, give them a quick rinse in water, so before I put them into the fridge. I've got them all laid out on the towels, and I'm just going to let those air dry before I put them back into the fridge. So, like I said, this is going to feed, we're a family of 5, so this is going to last us for at least the week, if not a little bit longer. So I'm happy about this. Everything's washed, it's drying, the leeks are up there drying, the celery, I remembered its name this time, the green leaves, tomatoes, cauliflower, carrots, broccoli, radishes, courgettes, peppers and carrots. So I'm going to let these air dry for a little while, and I'm going to crack on with sorting the rest of the ingredients out that's in the fridge left over from last week's shop. So bear with me. Okay, so I've emptied out the drawer, I've given it a clean, so everything can go back in there nice and clean. And I've got some white cabbage, a red cabbage, some carrots, celery, a red pepper, some onions. I think that's, oh, alarm's going off. Oh, there we go, everything left over. So I think what I might do is get all of this out and then make up a vegetable broth. So I can store some for whenever I need to use it. Okay, so I think that's what I'm going to do. Get all this out and turn it into a broth. Oh, and also I've got 2 of these squashes left, so I'm going to prepare them and I'm going to put them in the oven to roast. So I've got roasted squash to hand to put into soups, risottos, curry. Oh, curry. Yes, I might make a curry with these. So I'm going to get that sorted as well. Okay, so I'm going to cut these in half. Cool, they were tough. Right, there we go. I'm just going to cut them in half and then scoop out the flesh and seeds. I like to just put these whole in half with the skins on onto a baking tray and then just roast them. Just a little bit of oil, nothing else, because I don't want to season them because I don't know what I'm going to be cooking them with. So who knows, I might do a pumpkin pie and I don't want salt and pepper added to it. Let's scoop these out as best as we can. There we go. And this one, and then I'll do the same with the other one too. That was a lot easier than the bigger one. So I'm going to scoop this out, put some oil on, put them on a tray and put them in the oven probably for about 40-45 minutes until they're nice and soft. I'm just going to put these on, face them upwards like that. I'm going to put some oil on. Not too much, just a little bit. Okay, then I'm going to put those into my preheated oven. Okay, so here's all the seeds that are left over from the squash. So instead of just throwing them away, I'm going to rinse them all off in some water, and then I'm going to save them and plant them. So I'm just going to put these into some clean water to rinse all the pulp off. Put them out on a clean tea towel and let them dry, probably 3 to 7 days till they're fully dried, and then I'm just going to pop them into like a paper envelope and store them until we're ready to plant them. So we don't want to waste any of this, so let's get all these in and soaking. I'm going to have to put you down while I scoop the rest out. Okay, so they're all in, so I'm just going to scoop out all these big fleshy bits and then get out as much as I can and then give them a good soak to get all the fleshy bits off. Okay, so I've got most of it off, but I'm just going to put them through a sieve and give them a rinse under the tap just to get the last of it off. Okay, so I've got them as clean as I can in the strainer. I'm just going to put them onto this clean towel and then pat dry. Okay, so we're just going to pat them carefully dry. And if there's any bits I've missed, I can get them off in a minute. See, some of them have still got a tiny bit on them, so I'm just going to give them a little rub with the towel. There we go. Line this little tray just with some paper towel, and I'm going to put them in there. You want a single layer, you don't want them on top of each other because you want them to fully dry. Just like that. Okay, there were a few broken and damaged looking ones, some in half and some that were squidgy, so I've taken those out. But these, I'm going to go and put these in a cool, dry place away from sunlight and check on them in the next few days. Okay, so now that's done, it's time for a quick clean down and I'll have a quick check on the squash. So just checking on the veg is almost dry, still a little bit of water on the broccoli and the greens, but I've got other stuff to get on with, so I'm going to grab some of this veg that needs using up and then we're going to get on with vegetable broth. Okay, so next task in the kitchen today is we're going to get the vegetable stock. I called it broth earlier, but it's a stock. We're going to be making a vegetable stock so we can store it in the fridge and in the freezer for some recipes if and when we need it. So this recipe, I'm just going to use a couple of carrots, some celery, the leaves have started to wilt but they're still usable, a large white onion, some cabbage. I've got about half a bulb of garlic left, so I'm going to use that. And then I've got some peppercorns and some salt. Oh, I need to go into the garden and get some bay leaves, so let's go to the garden. Okay, so I'm going to grab about 5, I think. I love bay leaves, they give a nice flavour. 2, 3, 4, and that one there looks good. Okay, so we've got 5, let's go and get these in. Right, I've just rinsed those off quickly, they are smelling really good. Let's grab a quick cup of tea. Oh, my husband makes the best cups of tea. Right, so let's get on with this. Okay, so I've got, the kettle is full and is boiling. I'm just going to cut the end off the carrot, just like that. And then I'm just going to cut these into chunky bits. There we go. That's the carrots done. The onion, I'm not even going to peel the onion, I'm just going to half it, like that. And then the garlic, I've got half a bulb, so I'm just going to cut that through. Ooh, turn it that way. Just going to cut it in half, like that, just to help release some of that delicious garlic flavour. Oh, a bulb has escaped, so I'm going to cut that one in half too. Okay, I'm going to put this into my big pot. Whoops. Just going to all be chucked in. I may as well just go ahead and add in the bay leaves too. There we go. And then the cabbage, I'm just going to cut the end off. And then I'm going to cut that. I'm just going to use half of this. So, cut it in half again, plop that in. And then celery, I'm just going to cut that tip off. All the leaves that are still good, I'm going to use. So, just going to roughly chop this Hang on, I've got a couple, get rid of those ones. The rest all look good, so just going to roughly chop, put that all in. Okay, and then I'm just going to simply add a tablespoon of mixed peppercorns and 3 large pinches of sea salt. And then that's basically it. I'm just going to fill it out of water and cook it for roughly an hour. Kettle is still boiling. You see, it was that quick. The kettle is still boiling. So I'm going to just clear up. Put these bits into the compost. Actually, I've just found, this week I made some fennel pesto and I left the stalks. So I've just found these in the fridge and I'm going to put those in too, because fennel is always good. Okay, the kettle's just boiled, so I'm going to put this in. I don't want it completely covered, probably just slightly about an inch under the veg. There we go. And I'm going to pop a lid on and let that simmer for about an hour. As always, I'm going to clean as I go, so I'm going to clean this down and then I'm going to sit down in the sunshine and enjoy the rest of my cup of tea. Sunshine is out and it is gorgeous. 2 of the dogs are there sunbathing. Leo! Daddy! Hello boys. We're getting the garden ready. There's lots to do out here, but we've made a little start in the raised bed over there. I seriously cannot wait to get the other beds done and start growing broccoli. But I'm going to sit here for 5 minutes while the stock comes to a boil, and then I'm going to turn it down and let it simmer for an hour. So cheers. Okay, so I've just come in from the garden and the kitchen is smelling amazing. The stock is just coming up to a boil, so I'm going to put the lid on and then I'm just going to turn it down to a medium low just so it simmers away nicely. So like I said, that would be roughly an hour. I've just checked on the squash and that is still a little bit hard, so I'm going to leave that for a bit longer. I've just checked and it's boiling a bit too much on a medium low, so I'm going to turn it to low. Leave that, and now I'm going to get the fridge sorted. All the veg is dried now, so I'm going to restock and get organised. Okay, so the fridge drawer is now restocked. Everything in here is the stuff that's new, and then this is the few things that are left over from last week that need using up first. These mushrooms I only bought today, so they're good, and the kiwis we bought today, so they're good as well. So we've done that. That's another job ticked off the list. So let's close this up. Oh, let's get it in there. There we go. And we're going to check on the squash again. Okay, so it's still a little bit hard, so it's going to need longer. These ones are smaller and they're almost done. So let's close it up. The greens are still a little bit wet, so I'm just going to dry these off a bit more before I put them back in the fridge. I've left the radishes out because I want to pickle those, and the tomatoes, I need to get a container to put those in the fridge. Let's do that. Okay, so I've got my glass container. Let's put these in. Excuse the noise, the dog's outside and the neighbours are going mad. There must be a delivery. So let's get these all in. Okay, so that's all of the tomatoes. Just put the lid on and we'll get them put into the fridge. Okay, so the squash I've just took out of the oven. I'm going to leave it there to cool down completely. Okay, so the next job in the kitchen is we're going to use these radishes and get them pickled. So I'm just going to cut the ends off like that, and then we're going to use the, is it mandolin? Madeline, to slice them nice and thin. Right. Hopefully this is going to turn out good because I've been fancying this for a while. And it's going to just keep in the fridge, and then we'll take it out if we do tacos or salads and things like that. So just get rid of these. Okay, so I'm going to try and get these nice and thin. See, super quick, and then nice and thin. Let's do the next one. I've only just bought this, and I don't know why, because they are so good. Look how quick it is. Whoop. Watch those fingers. There we go, and then we've got the last big one. Okay, so they're all done, all nice and thin. So we're going to add these to a jar, and then we're going to add the rest ingredients so we can make pickled radishes. Okay, so I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of sugar to the jar and a big pinch of salt. And it's about 2 large pinches of salt. Put that in. Okay, so we've got our salt and sugar. I'm just going to give that a little shake, mix together. And then I'm going to start putting the radishes in. Might have to do this into 2 jars actually, because there's more radish here than I thought there was going to be. That's okay. More is always good. It's not going to get wasted because it will store for a long time in the fridge. Let's get another jar. Okay, so I've just grabbed another jar that's all clean. I'm going to do the same. Add a 1/4 cup sugar and then 2 large pinches of sea salt. And there goes the sugar, the salt I mean. And I'll just give that a shake, and then we'll pack in the rest of the radish. The jars are all being steriled, everything is clean, so we're just going to compact this all down before we go ahead and add the next ingredients. Put a little bit more in the other one. Super quick. I never used to do anything like this because I thought it would take ages, but it is super quick and a great way to use up produce. Okay, next thing is vinegar, and I'm just using some organic apple cider vinegar, and I'm gonna eyeball this, but you want it about fill it a third way up. Coming out quite slow, about a third. Oh, yeah, and then we'll do the same on the other one. You say that's about a third, Tyler?
I think so.
You could measure this, but I'm just eyeballing because I'm in a rush. I've got to get the boys to judo in like less than 10 minutes, so.
I say that's a third.
There we go. Okay, the last step is just to fill the rest with some water. There we go. Whoops. There we go, and I'm just going to put the lids on and make sure they're nice and tight, and then pop them in the fridge. Let's put the lids on. Oh, I don't know about you, but I love vinegar. I love the smell of vinegar.
Oh, yeah.
And these smell really good. So there we go. 2 jars, and they're going to go into the fridge. I'm going to leave them for about an hour, then I'm going to give them a little shake. Okay, so let's just pop those in the fridge, and then in about an hour, I'll give them a little shake. In the meantime, let's check the broth. It is a broth, no, stock. I keep calling it a broth. Let's check the stock. Hopefully this is ready because I really need to go out. Oh, that smells so good. I would say looking at that, that is done. It's been in there for an hour, so let's turn this off. Hopefully it'll cool by the time I've been out and come back. And then we just have to strain it and then make sure it's completely cool before we store it in our containers. Right, so I'm going to quick clean down before I get the boys ready to take them to judo. The squash is cooling. I'm going to leave the squash here to cool. Hopefully that'll be fully cold by the time I get back, and then I can put that into some glass storage containers. And I'm going to keep some in the fridge and some I'm going to freeze. So I'm going to quickly tidy up while the boys are getting ready. And I'll see you back in the kitchen later on. Okay, so we've just got back and I'm checking on the stock, and that is still warm, so it's too warm to put into our jars yet. But let's check our radishes. There we go, I'm just going to give these a little shake. Make sure the lid's on tight, I don't want to spill it everywhere. Ooh. Give them a good shake. Get all the sugar and the salt mixed in. There we go. Right, I'm going to get on with the roasted squash. Right, the roasted squash. This has cooled down now. I've had to put it up high because my dogs, especially Max the husky, he is obsessed with squash and he was trying to get it, so it's been put up on the shelf. So I'm going to scoop this out. I think tonight, I'm not sure whether I'm going to make a curry or tacos, I haven't decided. So if I'm going to do a curry, I'll save some of this and use that in the curry. And the rest I'm going to put into containers and put into the freezer for next time we need it. So let's get this scooped out. Okay, let's get scooping. Nice and soft, and it comes out pretty easy from the skin. That's why I like to leave it on. Less cutting as well and peeling. I don't like peeling much. Most of that is out. Love the smell of this. It smells really good. Makes food in the meals, it's delicious as well. Adds so much flavour. My dogs, I'm surrounded by my dogs. You're not allowed any, Max. He likes eating the skin of it. Does anyone else's dogs love squash? Ours are crazy for it. Come with this, and I'll see you guys in a minute. Okay, so I've got 2 containers full of the squash. I'm going to put this into the freezer, and this will be handy if I decide to do a curry along the line, or a risotto, or a soup, or even a pumpkin pie. So I'm going to go and put these away in the freezer, and then I've decided that I am going to do a curry tonight. So I'm going to do a squash curry. So So I'll get that prepared in a minute. Right, let's put these in the freezer. Okay, first, before I get on with the curry, these leaves are all dry now, so I'm going to collect these and store them back in the fridge. So just get all of these. I'm not sure on the actual name of these green leaves, but we really like them. They are tasty. Right, let's get these stored in the fridge. Okay, so I've grabbed some more of the leftover veg from last week, and I'm going to put together a nice veggie curry. So we've got some white cabbage, some carrots, some shiitake mushrooms, white onion, half a red onion, courgette, red pepper, of course the squash, and then I've got some garlic, and I've got some homemade pickled ginger to put in, which is fantastic in curry. So let's get all this prepped. Okay, I'm going to start by dicing the onions nice and fine. And we're adding a white one as well. Okay, the next up is garlic. I'm using 3 large cloves. I'm just going to crush those and then dice. Okay, so we're just going to dice up this garlic. Can't have a curry without lots of garlic. I'd usually put about 5 in, but these are quite big, so we're just going with 3. There we go, that's the garlic done. Just going to get a bowl to put these in to make some more space. Okay, so next I'm going to add some of these pickled ginger, if I can open it. Yeah, there we go. Just get like a heaped forkful out. A little bit more. There we go. This stuff tastes delicious. It was some fresh ginger from the garden and I just peeled it and then put it in some vinegar, and it's great for just putting into some curries or on stir fries or salads. It's really good flavour. So I'm just going to roughly chop that and then put that with the onions and garlic. Okay. Now we're going to get our carrots, just cut the ends off. They will go to the dogs, they love them. Max! This one, they're all running in. Leo! Whoop! Teddy! There you go, good boys. So I'm just going to cut these in half lengthwise and then in half again lengthwise. And then slice. I want them fairly thin because I want them to cook quickly. So next up, the carrots are done. We're just going to do the courgette. There's only one small courgette in this one. Just using things up. So again, I'm going to cut lengthwise again. I'm going to make the courgette chunkier than the carrot because this cooks quicker and I like a bit of texture with this. There we go. Right, so I'm going to get the pan on heating. Okay, so I've got my large stainless steel frying pan. I'm going to heat that up nice and hot before I add my oil and butter. If you let it heat up before you put your oil in, it will be non-stick. So that's heating up. Okay, so while the pan is heating up, I've just done my spice mix that I'm going to be using, and I've got 3 large pinches of black pepper, 3 large pinches of sea salt. I've got 2 heaped teaspoons of dried ginger, 3 heaped teaspoons of ground cumin, and 2 heaped teaspoons of sweet paprika, and 1 teaspoon of turmeric. I'd usually put in 3 teaspoons of dried coriander too, but I haven't got any, so we'll have to make do with this. I'm sure it still tastes great. Right, so let's put some oil in the pan. Okay, so the pan's nice and hot, so I'm going to put a good glug of delicious olive oil. I'm also going to put some butter in as well. Okay, so I've got my olive oil and butter in there. I'm just going to give it a swirl around the pan, help make the pan non-stick. And again, when it's ready, you'll get all these lines going down the side of the pan, and that's when you know that it's non-stick and you can add your ingredients. So give that like 20 seconds and then we'll add our stuff. Okay, so that's nice and hot, so we're going to add our onions, our garlic and ginger. Give it a quick mix. Get them all coated in the butter and the oil, and then I'm going to add in the spice mix. In go the spices. Let's get all of this coated in these delicious spices. It smells amazing already. So the temperature is on high at the moment, but once all these are coated, I'm just going to turn it to medium heat. I just want to get all these onions and garlic and ginger coated first. Oh, I wish you could smell this. This smells good. Okay, so I'm just going to turn that to medium high and then let this cook off for another minute, and then I'll add in the carrots and courgette. Okay, so we've added in the carrot and courgette, and I'm just going to give this a mix and get all of those veggies coated in the spice mix too. And then I'm going to add a cup of water just to help soften the carrots. Let's get some water. Okay, I'm just eyeballing it, that's about a cup. Give it another stir. And then I am going to turn that to a medium. It's on medium high at the minute, but I'm going to turn that to a medium. Okay, so while that is simmering, I'm going to give it 5 minutes. I'm going to get the other veg prepped. Little bad bit on there, so I'll just cut that off. Okay, so we're going to use a red bell pepper because they're nice and sweet. And I'm going to make this into big chunks. I want some texture to the curry. I love red pepper. I think red and yellow bell peppers are my favourite. I'm not so keen on the green. The red and yellow are the sweetest. And the orange. So I'm just going to cut these into about 1-inch pieces. Get some texture in the curry. Okay. Put those in this bowl. And then finally, I'm going to shred up some cabbage. It's not very much cabbage here, but it needs using up and I don't want to waste it. So there's probably, I don't know, just over a cup's worth of white cabbage. So I'm going to shred this as fine as I can. And then we'll get these added. I've still got my mushrooms to cut, but I don't like to put them in until it's almost serving time because I like them to have a bit of texture. And then at the very end, we'll add our roasted squash. Okay, that's another thing prepped. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes and I'm now going to add the cabbage and the red bell pepper. So let's put this in, try not to spill any. There we go. Let's give this a quick mix. Right, I'm going to turn this down to low now, low heat. Get these veggies coated in all the nice spices, and then I'm going to add some more water. The kettle's just boiling, which is great. There we go. So we get these all nicely coated. Excuse me. Oh, it smells good. My husband would probably like meat with this one, but I wasn't fancying meat tonight. And so it's an all veggie one tonight, which I do enjoy. I love vegetarian food. I'm not actually a big meat eater. I don't mind a bit of chicken now and again. Pork is probably my favourite, and that's about it really. But I'm going to put you guys down. I need a good cough. Put you guys down so I can give this a proper stir and then add the water. Okay, I've added this other veg to the curry. I've added the water. I've added about 3 cups of water, but I was eyeballing it, so it's a rough guess, 3 cups. And now I'm going to prepare the shiitake mushrooms. I don't wash these, I just rub off any soil that might be on it. But they're all looking good. So again, I'm going to cut these quite chunky, so I've got some texture in the curry. Just rough. And then I will put these in a bit later on. Like I said, towards the end, because I don't want them to go soggy. I want them to keep a bit of texture. I'm also going to take this time and I'm going to scoop out the squash, just so it's ready to put in near the end. I just realised I forgot to put my chilli in the curry, so I'm just coming out to grab one. I only want a small one. Just grab that one. I like it spicy, but not too spicy. So let's go and get this chopped. I believe I forgot the chilli, but there we go, there it is. Let's add that in. I usually use some dried chilies as well, but I've run out of those as well. So put this in and give it a stir. It's almost done really. A few more minutes and then I'm going to add in the mushrooms and the squash. Okay, before I add in the squash and the mushrooms, I'm just going to add in half a cup of ground almonds. This will help thicken it slightly and give it a yummy almond taste. So let's just stir that through. Oh, this is smelling good. I haven't had a curry for a while. I do enjoy a good curry. So just let that sit there for another few minutes and then we'll get the rest of it in. Also, while I'm by the fridge, I'm just going to check on the pickled radishes. Just give them another little shake. Get that sugar and salt all mixed in. And the next one. Whoops. I think we've done good in the kitchen today. We've got loads done. We'll have a recap in a little while once dinner's cooked. Okay, so the ground almonds is making it thicken up nicely. So now it's time to add the roast squash. Got a bit of skin on there, but that won't matter. It'll add more flavour. So we're just going to mush this down and give it a stir through. I'm definitely going to have to put you guys down for this because otherwise it's all going to spill over the edge. Be back in a minute. Okay, the final touch to the curry is to add the shiitake mushrooms. Just going to stir those through and then a few more minutes and it'll be ready. We're not ready for tea yet though, or dinner if you want to call it dinner, but I shall put the lid on this and then just leave it on the stove until a bit later on. It's easy, I love curries, you can just heat them up and the longer you leave them, the better they taste. So Let's get all these mushrooms covered in the sauce. Again, I'm going to put you down to do this and then we'll crack on with a few more jobs in the kitchen. Okay, right. So last few minutes of dinner, I've come back to the stock. It's okay, Tyler. Tyler's come down and he's helping me tidy up the kitchen. He's doing the dishes, which is a great help because it has been a very busy day in the kitchen today and there is a lot of mess. So he's helping clean while I finish off tea. This is still slightly warm, so I'm going to take out all the veg and stuff and then hopefully that'll make it cool quicker because time is getting on and I would like to sit down this evening. So I'm just gonna empty all of this out. It won't get wasted because it's going to go in the compost, which is then going to help all our new veggies and plants grow, so nothing is wasted. Eventually, I'm looking forward because I'm desperate to get some chickens. Aren't we, Tyler?
Oh, yeah.
We want chickens. But we've got to get the garden sorted and get a coop and everything made for them before we can get them. So all of this will be going to the chickens. They'll be producing our eggs for us and we'll be feeding them all the delicious veggies. So I'm just going to transfer all of this, drain off as much as the delicious liquid as I can. Oops. And then once I've done this, I will then put it through the strainer because it's got all the peppercorns in. And then I will store it in my glass jars and it can be kept in the fridge, but I'm probably going to put it into the freezer. So next time I do a risotto or a soup or anything like that, I've got an awesome base packed full of flavour. So I'm going to crack on with this and then dinner will hopefully be done. So I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, I've just realised I should have put this into a sieve and then let all the juices fall out of it while the rest of this stock cools. So I'm going to take this and transfer it to the sieve and then I can also push this and get all the juices out as well because it's all about that flavour. We want a flavourful stock. So I'm just going to push out all the juices until it's all done. So I'm just going to get this done. Actually, first thing, I'm going to go and turn off dinner. Right, I'm turning dinner off. That can just sit there for a little bit until we're ready to eat it. I'll pop the lid on and then we'll heat it up a bit later. But that is smelling delicious. So this is our squash curry. I have got a recipe for a squash curry on the blog, haven't we?
Yeah, pumpkin curry.
I'm not sure if this is the exact recipe that I've put on there, but it's pretty close. I tend to do a similar sort of spice mix and base, so I will pop the link for the recipe that's on the blog and I will do this one as well. So if you guys fancy it, you can click the link below and check it out. So that's off and I'm going to get on with the stock. Okay, so I've given the whole thing, the stock, a strain. I've pushed out as much juices from all the veg as I can get. All the peppercorns are in there and this is what I'm left with. So I'm going to strain it one more time through a funnel into the jars that I'm going to keep it in. So there is a few little bits in there. So next job is to get the jars out and sieve this the final time. So let's get the jars. Okay, so I've got some jars out. I've just realised that I'm actually running out of like mason jars for storing my stuff in, but I'm going to make do. I've got this one and then I've got a rectangle one and then a round one. So we'll see how far this mixture gets us. So I've just got a little funnel and a little sieve and I've just got a ladle and I'm going to start to put it through. Try my hardest not to spill any of this because I don't want to waste any. There we go. Smells really good. Like I said, I'm probably going to freeze all of it, and then I'll just pull it out in the morning of the day that I know that I'm going to use it. So I'm just going to crack on with this, and I'll get back to you guys in a minute. Okay, so it's all been strained, and now I've got it all in the glass jars. This one's got 2 cups worth in, this one's got 2 cups, and then this one down here's got 3 cups worth in. So I'm going to sort the freezer out to make some room, and then I'm going to clear up all of this rubbish. Okay, so before I put them in the freezer, I've just wrote on there with a marker pen what they are, how much is in them, and the date. So I've made space. Let's go get it in the freezer. There we go, there's those 2, and then I'll make some more room on one above for the other. And there we go, it's the final one in. Okay friends, so I thought I would make myself a nice cup of tea while we have a quick recap on everything that we've managed to achieve today in the kitchen. It has been such a productive day and loads has been done. So we did the grocery shop this morning. We got all our organic vegetables from the farmer's market, and I showed you what we've got. We then emptied out our fridge of all of last week's veggies that were left over, and we gave the veg drawer a clean out, and then we sorted out all the veg that needed using, and we made up a fantastic vegetable stock, and we've got that in the freezer for when we need it. And what else did we do? Oh yeah, we had to use up our Paulista squashes, so we roasted those, and one we've used in tonight's dinner, which is a curry, and I'm looking forward to having that tonight. And then the rest, we removed all the skin and we put all the flesh into some glass containers, and we've put that into the freezer. So we've got 2 more meals half prepared. So next time I fancy doing a curry or a risotto or a soup, I can just reach for the pre-made roasted squash, which is always great when you've got stuff on hand in the freezer to use if you're in a rush or you're just not in the mood for cooking. So that was another thing. So we've got the curry done for dinner tonight. We've frozen some squash for other meals. We made our vegetable stock, and that is in the freezer for other meals in case we need it. And also we made, let me go and grab them. Technically we didn't make these, but we removed all of the seeds from today's squash, and we've washed, and now they're drying, and they're sitting in this tray, and they're being there for 3 to 7 days until they're completely dried, and then we put them into a paper envelope, and then they're ready for planting when we need to. So that was another job done. So we cleaned the fridge, we've restocked the fridge, we've used up all the leftover veg that needed using, and we've made tonight's dinner. So I think all in all we've had a very successful day here in the kitchen. And I almost forgot our radishes. We also pickled our radishes that we bought from the market today. So these are in the fridge, they've been shaken quite a few times. Later on tonight I will take off the lid to let any gas escape that's built up inside there, any air. So they're going to stay in the fridge until we're ready to use them. So another thing ticked off the list that we've done today. Very productive. So I want to thank you, excuse me, I want to thank you friends for joining me today. Tyler's been busy today, so he hasn't really been in the kitchen, but he did come down and help me clear up, which was very kind of him and very much appreciated. So I'm going to sit here, well not here, I'm going to go in the living room and sit down, enjoy this nice cup of tea, and then I'm going to heat up the curry that we've made tonight, and then we're all going to sit down and enjoy a nice family meal. So once again, I just want to thank you, friends, for joining me today in the kitchen. Oh, and we did get to enjoy the sunshine today. We sat in the garden for 5 minutes, enjoyed the sunshine and a cup of tea, and yeah, a very productive day in the kitchen. A few more dishes have to be done, but pretty much the kitchen is done and ready for use tomorrow. So thank you very much, friends, and it's always a pleasure that you join me in the kitchen, and I will catch up with you guys next time. And if you fancy following along for more homely chats and cooking in our kitchen and more gardening and seeing the progress of our vegetable garden, then please, if you feel like it, hit that subscribe button and join us on our food and garden adventures. So take care, friends, and have a fantastic day.